Hello there, welcome to Yin Massage. Tonight we're going to explore what it feels like to give our main workhorse, our main driver, a break, a sense of relief. And for that I'm talking, of course, about our back. The back holds us up. It protects the spine, which is the core of our central nervous system, the core of our being, the core of our energy flow. It's a bunch of very big muscles that get overworked on a day-to-day basis and are mostly contracted all the time. And that's why we get a lot of hunching, we get a lot of tightness, soreness. When people go to get an actual massage, usually the areas they say focus on are my neck, my shoulders, my upper back. We just put so much weight into it from standing, from sitting, from engagement, and outside of sleep at night, or those who are smart enough to take naps, we rarely give the back a chance to contract or release its contraction, which is so important for its health, to support our central nervous system and support our entire body. And so we're really going to think about forgiveness here. Forgiving ourselves for neglecting the back and cherishing it through that forgiveness. So we'll explore that today. And I think through these yin postures will come not just a forgiveness of our main workhorse in our body, but how we can then leverage that to ourselves and other people. It's an attitude so necessary to find and cultivate and embody today. So I want everyone to begin. We're going to start in a supported child's pose. So for today's yin, your props, you're just going to need at least one block. You could grab a pair of blocks if you have them. You also want a bolster or a cushion for some of these supported postures. And what you're going to do for this supported child's pose is get wide-legged. And we're going to hold this for 5 minutes. So I want your big toes to touch, okay, spine long. And you can keep your cushion so that it kind of comes down into the lower part of your belly. So you're not putting too much weight in the shoulders. Okay. And so I'm actually going to push mine back a little bit so it's supporting the chest a little bit more. Feel free to do this without a cushion, but for those whose backs are really tight, you may want this option. So we're going to hold here for 5 minutes. And as with all yin postures, we're letting gravity do the work. We are taking a very basic child's pose, but creating the conditions to hold it for a long time. And with each inhale and exhale, try to breathe deeper each time. You're going to find that your lower back, your mid back, and the back of your hips start to lengthen and engage. The back of the shoulders begin to lengthen as you slowly stretch all of the muscle fibers and ligaments in one outward and down direction. Child's pose is a great sign of humility as our forehead touches the floor best we can. We are surrendering in a act of vulnerability to the earth below us through our mat. And we are honoring our entire body, but specifically our back. And we really want to honor it today. And just think about how we use it every day from the minute you wake up. It's holding you in standing. It's holding you sitting up. It's making adjustments as we slouch in a chair or on a couch to not let our spine get too disentangled. It's taking a lot of shocks from walking. It's holding up our head and our neck even when it's craned over us, and we're asking a lot of our upper back to hold the neck and head up. It brings the legs and the arms together. It's one big sheath. Several big muscles that are the backbone. And very few people give it a break. And I mean, it'd be wonderful to go into child's pose every day or some of the poses we'll be doing. But just lying down, picking your feet up, giving your back a break from holding you up, holding your spine up. You're going to find this not only alleviates stress and headaches as the grip around your spine becomes less and less as these big muscles find relaxation and relief on a daily basis. You'll have more energy. But we only put that time in, that prioritization, if we acknowledge its role in our daily lives, even if we're very active or somewhat active. So we acknowledge its power and everything it does for us. And through that acknowledgement, we can then say, I will give you a break. I won't keep you in fifth gear all day. This is the very physical element of it. We're going to get a little deeper, but we have to acknowledge its power, honor it, so that we can forgive and find ease in our day-to-day. All right, slowly pick your head up. Crawl your hands back to meet your body. Sit up tall. Bring the knees not fully together, but slightly. And then come onto hands and knees. So wrists right under your shoulders. Fingers wide. Knees right under your hips. Your hips being these hip flexors right in the middle of your thighs. Okay, so you want to make sure it's a straight line from the thigh down. And so now we're just going to do a couple minutes of cat-cows. So breathing, arching up. Exhale, push into the floor with your hands and knees. Curl the middle of the back up. Let the head hang heavy, neck loose. Inhale up. And go at your own pace now. The spine needs to be flexible so that we can have a flexible mind, flexible nerves, our wits about us in these crazy days. And that mobility in the back is so important. For anyone who does resistance exercises or calisthenics where we're doing a lot of pull-ups or push-ups or rows, or maybe you're doing CrossFit or deadlifts or Olympic lifting. The back is so involved. And the back can get strong, but if it's not flexible, if it doesn't have a suppleness to it, it's going to get very tight very quickly. And stresses you never thought you'd have, problems you never anticipated having, will start to creep up as that latent soreness builds up. So really take the time to give the back the nourishment it needs. 20 more seconds. This is so good for the spine. All right, come to center. And now we're going to go into puppy pose. So keep your knees where they are and keep your hips right above them. You're going to start to crawl your hands forward. And then when you can reach no more, but your hips are still above your knees, bring your forehead down to the ground. And we're going to hold here for 2 minutes. Now you're going to feel a nice stretch across the back of the shoulders, the upper back. If you have the flexibility, you can move from the forehead to the chin. Start moving your chest further down. Don't try to push or force in this particular yin practice, as opposed to doing this puppy dog pose in a vinyasa class. Really keep the palms engaged, upper shoulders engaged, and just let gravity expand the upper part of the back. And notice any quivering or shaking that's happening. It's okay if it's a little uncomfortable, keep it there. You can always, if it's getting too tense, move your palms back an inch or two. Take the gas off a little bit. You're always in control of that in yin, but if you can, hold this for the full 2, because this upper part of your back does so much work, especially as we're looking at screens all day, down on our phones, our computers. It's being pulled in so many ways. And we need to build that body awareness of the different parts of the back that are engaged so that we know how to treat it in the future, but also so that we get to know it. Is it supple? Is it tight? Is it strong? Could it use a little more engagement? 30 more seconds. And I think once we use yin to develop an even deeper sense of body awareness, this muscle-mind connection, we again deepen our acknowledgement of these different parts of the body that help us so much throughout the day. And then we can build a relationship. We can build a conversation with it in our healing. All right, slowly pick your head up. Inch back with your palms and your fingers. Good job. I know your arms might be feeling it a little bit. Just come up onto your knees. Shake out your wrists. Cross your elbows a little bit. I know this is yin. This is a little dynamic for yin. But we're gonna get into it. All right, so next bit, thread the needle. So come back onto hands and knees, and we're gonna start with the right side. So I want you to keep your left palm on the ground, both knees where they are. Reach up with the right hand so that your chest is facing the wall, tilting up. And then as you exhale, bring the right arm and shoulder underneath the left shoulder and arm, and let that right arm, that right shoulder come down. So you're here. Couple of options. You can hold here and use that left hand to give you some nice support. You're going to feel a twist in the right side of your back. That's really important. If you want, you can extend the left hand out to get a little more engagement. If you want a little more, you can go for the bind and bring your left hand down to your back. I'm going to reach out today. We're going to hold this on 3 minutes for each side. Really deepen and engage our side body, the back, this twist, this thoracic movement. And again, let gravity do the work. You'll find your edge, and if you need, come off a little bit, bring the left hand back. So we got to forgive ourselves. We have to find a way to accept that we don't always acknowledge that we're asking parts of ourselves to work harder than it should. Most often that manifests in the mind. Certain aspects of overthinking, judging ourselves, analyzing, maybe being in a creative mode and really needing to use that particular faculty. Maybe it's your patience. But all of these things have a reciprocal connection in the body. And we already went through the physical sides of what the back does, but it's our power. It is our core. It's our foundation. I used to do singing in chorus, and they'd say, don't cave your chest in, lift your chest up. And what they meant is straighten your back. Your heart can only come forward, your chest can only open when your back is engaged. And that takes work, that takes effort to build up that muscle and that ease there. We have about 45 more seconds on this side. I'm going to bring my left arm back because it was getting a little tingly for me. Make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the neck here. Really engage that left palm to help you out. So we have to forgive ourselves for overusing parts of us that, some weeks they can go days. Other weeks they need a rest every hour, right? You slowly come on up, slowly. Come back onto all fours, wiggle from side to side. Good. We'll do the other side. Reach up with the left. Swing the left shoulder down through, underneath the right arm. And we're here for 3. So what does it mean to forgive ourselves? Well, first it means to relax. We can't beat ourselves up. In a state of forgiveness, of acceptance of ourselves or of others or of world circumstances.
Take these breaths nice and deep. With each exhale at the back, relax. So we need to be in a state of relaxation. But we really need to want to move on. Too often we hold on to problems or drama because it entertains us or it gives us a sense of identity, but it's such old news, such old ideas and situations. There has to be this desire to move on to the next thing, to not be held into the past by some story, some conflict. Because by not forgiving, by not emotionally releasing the person or the situation or how we feel about ourselves, what we're saying is, I want this still in my life. And in yoga, we talk a lot about releasing what we no longer want, what no longer serves us. So we need to acknowledge what we're using. Are we talking about this problem a lot? Have we not come to a solution? So relaxation, desire to move on. And in my mind, there kind of comes a third or last part where we not just allow the other person to be, but then allow ourselves to be. It's kind of that mirror. We're saying, okay, regardless if you've changed or not, or the situation's changed or not, I can't hold on to this. I won't hold on to this. So I'm going to honor you where you're at and allow you to grow apart. And I'm not going to beat myself up for holding on to this too long. So it's like a mutual forgiveness. You always got to forgive yourself as well as with the other person or the situation. Slowly come on up. Shake. Good. So now if you've got a cushion, you can use that. We're going to go into a supported sphinx. You can use a bolster. You can use a block with a blanket on top of it, or a couple blocks with blankets. And so you want to get into, kind of come onto your belly with the cushion coming up on the lower part of your belly onto your ribs. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose here. So we got this nice curl in the upper back, pressing lightly down on the tops of the feet and the palms to set ourselves upright. Let the head hang heavy. And we're going to hold here for about 4 minutes. So this is going to be our soft back bend that's going to ease into the mid and upper part of our back. Okay. So there's no real formula to forgiveness. We just need to acknowledge that we need to do it, and then go about emotionally and energetically getting into that state. Allow your back to soften and lengthen. And imagine, if you can, someone in your life or a situation in your life that maybe you've intellectually let go of, but if you're reminded of it or a picture comes up, you kind of get this sinking feeling in your stomach, or a flash of worry or dread or anxiety. And that means it's still in there, not let go. And I have many of those still. But the more we acknowledge that they're there and we go about releasing them, the more resistance we let go of every time, the less significant it becomes in our lives, mentally, energetically, and emotionally. And we can store a lot of that in our backs. And so if you imagine a lot of old stories, drama, conflict, keep pressing into the palms. Every time you do a back bend or a back stretch or child's pose, you're releasing an aspect of that resistance, which you're carrying. The other person is not. The other situation is not. One more minute. You're doing good. Let the head hang heavy, but keep the spine a little elongated. We're just letting it widen and lengthen. So we just allow ourselves to soften, reduce the rigidity in these big muscles in our back, but also reduce the rigidity in our lives. The mind and the body are one. If we're having troubles in our lives with stress or anxiety, it's going to manifest in the body some way. That's just the way that we're created. It's the way that we operate. So we can either go into it psychologically, we can go to it into the body, but I have found that creating a level of body intelligence and awareness is going to be a great driver of relief. So everyone, slowly come up out of Sphinx. Bring your hands next to your ribs. Come on up. Okay, remove whatever cushion or block you were using. So everyone come onto your backs now. That feels good. And bring your knees to your chest. And I just want you to hold here for 1 minute. Let the head hang heavy, neck heavy. Just wrap your arms around your knees and let the back relax into the floor. It should feel really nice as the ground and gravity start to allow the back to relax and loosen. Good. Now we're slowly going to bring ourselves over into a supine twist, first on the left. So keep your knees where they are and let the hands go wide. And then grab the outside of your right knee with the left hand and slowly guide it down onto your left side, your left hip, and keep the right side open. You should feel a nice release in the spine. Release the knee with the hand and let the hands go open. You should feel a nice release on the left side. By release, I mean it could feel very tight and very sore. We're going to hold here for 2. Maybe 3. So our resistances, they're kind of the inner walls, the inner sluice gates that we won't let come down. And it doesn't really matter what the justification is, or any good reason we have there. The point is, it's cutting off our energy that could be used somewhere else. You know, we started off this practice talking about forgiving ourselves for neglecting our back, but that could go to neglecting any other part of our body, neglecting aspects of ourselves that we love, people we love. You know, that we haven't been as creative or artistic as of late, or as athletic, or seen our friend or a family member, or haven't felt authentic to ourselves in some way. We need to forgive that has happened and quit the mining around the spiral of, oh, I always do this. Why do I keep doing this? Why can't I be happy when I do, you know, just making better choices? We gotta let that go. It's just an old story that we charge every time we think about it. So best to speak it, exercise it out of the body. And you can do these supine twists every day. It's such good cleaning work for the whole back, but particularly the spine. And we want to relax the big muscles in our back, but really what we're focused on is releasing the grip on the spine, releasing the grip on our central nervous system, on pulling on ourselves. Instead, allow things to flow, allow things to feel easy. Cool. Slowly bring your knees back up, feet on the floor, hands wide. Pause, take a deep breath in. Exhale. Bring the knees to your chest. Hold here for a few breaths. Now, open your arms wide, keep your knees where they are tucked. Use the right hand to go onto the outside of the left knee and slowly bring the left knee, both knees down to the right side. Open up to the right. Release both arms open. Right? Yeah, I was at the left before. That's sometimes the case with yin classes. You kind of forget where you are. That's okay. You just gotta know to come back. So hold here for a couple more minutes. And really just take this time to breathe and focus on what you want to let go of, what you can forgive. With each inhale, drink in that relaxation, that ease, that comfort, and with every exhale, let go of that worry, that drama, that blame, judgment, resistance. If it's got a name, if it doesn't have a name. And over time with this practice, it will no longer inhabit you in mind or in body. Give every part of you. Allow yourself to receive love and gratitude toward your back for supporting you this whole time, and it thanking you for the rest and relief you're giving it right now. And just acknowledge that and appreciate that. Slowly bring your knees back up. Tuck your knees back into your chest and just make small little circles on your lower back, on your sacrum. Other way. Good. Let your feet come down to the mat. And this is where you can grab your block or a cushion if it's a bit easier for you. And we're going to go into a supported bridge pose right before our Shavasana. So lift up your lower back and place your block on your lowest setting and place it right on the sacrum. So the area we were just circling around. And here I'm actually going to scooch up a little bit so my legs have some distance. So you come into bridge and then place the block right where the sacrum is. So kind of the bottom of the block should be right on top of the hips. So it should feel nice and comfortable. So you're going to hold here in bridge for 2 minutes. Now for some of you, you may want to go up to a higher block setting. This will engage a little bit more. Just keep it soft and easy. Let gravity do the work. If it's coming too much in the lower back, don't do it. So whole practice is full circle, where we did that child's pose in a great sign of humility and reverence to ourselves, to our backs, to our lives. And we were kind of inverting it here, but humility is forgiveness. It is the idea that we are imperfect, we make mistakes, we go too hard sometimes, we are unconscious of the discomfort we create in our own lives or that we create for others. And so we forgive ourselves and we forgive others to move on. It allows us to live an easier life where we can breathe easier. We're not holding, we're not gripping, we're not trapping our energy in places it doesn't serve us to do so. So, you can transition into your Shavasana now by extending the legs out in this bridge if you want. If that's pinching too much on the lower back, you can go to a lower setting, which I'm going to do. Or if you want, you can just go into a regular Shavasana without the support and just feel your back relax onto the floor. Close your eyes. Let the palms face open, feet wide and relaxed. Smile a little bit. Start to list some of the positive sensations or emotions you're feeling physically and mentally. Take the time to acknowledge all that you've put your body through and your mind through over the past year, past month. Say, wow, well, now that's over. I'm going to appreciate you. I'm going to honor you, give you relief more often, give you rest more often, so that you can continue to work with me for as long as I have on this earth to continue to create, have fun, help others, enjoy this life, which is what forgiveness is really all about. It's the gateway to joy. By shedding the resistances, by unblocking all of the flows, unclenching all the fists, life gets easier. And circumstances come our way that are alike in that ease, whether it's friends or career or money or relationships. And so really use this practice of forgiveness to think forward to what you really want and what you're looking forward to, and visualize that. And smile at that as you breathe nice and deep. You can keep laying down in Shavasana to take your rest. If you want, you can remove the block, come onto your favorite side, push yourself up into a seated position. May you continue to find ease and relaxation as you leave this mat, as you thank and forgive your body, thank and forgive yourself, thank and forgive all who come to you in a sacred sign of humility and grace, to be that light, that healing light that we need so desperately in this world today. Have a wonderful evening or rest of your day. Namaste.